In a world where machines are becoming smarter and more advanced than ever before, we are here to explore the cutting edge of artificial intelligence. Meet our host, Eric Anthony Jones, aka Ruler in Peace, as he dives into the world of AI, its benefits and its potential dangers. He, along with his future hosts and co-hosts, will be speaking to the people who are at the forefront of AI development and its early implementation stages. We'll show you how AI can revolutionize industries and transform our daily lives, and will confront the fears surrounding AI in order to take you beyond the fear of a world existing only of cold logic. By the time this journey is over, we will discover the power of AI and delve into the creative uses of AI, sparked out of the creative ingenuity unleashed within the depths of the human mind. Join us on this action-packed journey into the world of artificial intelligence, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.
Hello. And so it's like, welcome to Machine Minds, the show where we explore the latest in artificial intelligence and its impact on our world. I'm your host, Ruler in Peace, and today, let me tell you, without any reservation, we have a very special guest. And so I'm joined here with Yasser MxMyA. This person is an artist, architect, extraordinary mind. And so, Yasser, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. And to start off, can you just please introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a bit about your background in AI?
Hey, Eric, Ruler in Peace. Thank you so much for hosting me in the Machine Minds. I'm so happy to be here. Let me say, when I talk about a little bit about myself, I'm an architect, I'm an artist, I'm delving into the world of Web3, NFTs, and slowly moving into AI and the boundaries of the technology with AI. I am doing architecture. I'm doing work with the architecture syndicate in my city to talk about, or let's say find a resolution. How can we implement, how can we put the norms that are ruling the AI work, especially in the building branch. And the building branch is really a very, very primitive section of the industry, like auto industry, a car industry, every other tech industry, like just went up very much. But is there something ringing?
I thought that was you on your end. It's not on you.
No.
I have no idea what's going on then. I'm thinking that's on your end. Is like, okay.
Okay, now it's gone.
It's gone. Wherever it came from. Okay, go ahead.
It's all right. So the thing is, with all these branches like heading up in their curves in their development, the building branch is really still rudimentary. It's really, we still build with our hands, like literally with the hands. We need workers to do the stuff with their hand. So it's kind of still a raw soil for development, and the sky is only the limit, and there's already a lot to catch up with the other industries. So this is a bit about my background. Currently, I am learning programming. I'm learning how to dive into AI, not as a user, but as a creator, as someone who can program AI, who can manipulate the neural networks and then work with them in order to create a product. And with this, when we look at the NFT world, what's happening there, you see a lot of people who are using AI to produce images, to produce text, to produce everything. So these are the users of the AI, but they're not the creators of the AI. So I'm trying to get the let's say, to get the object from both sides. So from its creation, from under the hood, but also from the user side. And for that, I use Midjourney, I use ChatGPT on the other side, on the one side. On the other side, I'm learning about neural networks, how they work, how can I create one, how can I feed data into it and teach it, like let it learn about different stuff that are happening.
Gotcha. And so it's clear that you have a lot of experience in the different things that you put your fingers on. And I had never thought about, um, just one second, please. I had never, I had never thought about the building industry being so rudimentarily still grounded in just like you how you described it, but it is true that it is really like that, and when you say it like that, it's like when you say it like that, it just kind of blows my mind actually, and so it really blows my mind, and so um
Yeah, exactly. So it's the next time you come by a building site, look at the people, like look at what is really happening. And then the first question that comes to my mind when I do that, okay, how can I automate things? How can I make things like more intelligent? How can I make things faster? And here I would also add 2 points of my architecture philosophy is that I am not a big fan of star architects. Like people who build their name, who building landmarks and buildings that are accessible only for a few people, because worldwide we have a severe problem of housing. We have a problem of, we lack buildings, we lack schools, we lack like all kinds of other facilities that are away from a 1 kilometer tower that is coming to life at some point.
uh-huh. So yeah, no, I'm I was just taken so far back by what you said because, like you said, when you compare it to the auto industry, when you compare it to so many other areas, it is so true. I mean, and even if okay, so we say that when it comes to the technology for architectural drawings and stuff like that, okay, that's even more advanced than on some levels. Is like, but wow, I'm just speechless. Because it's just like an epiphany. It's like, oh my God, what you're saying is really real, and that's kind of crazy. And so, but I'll just leave it at that. Let's move on. So, what do you see as the future of AI in your industries? And so, because you have more than one industry in your industries, what do you see as the future of AI?
Yeah, it's a double-sided sword. Really, like just like everything. I mean, it depends on which hands it lands in at the end of the day, and what are these hands willing to do with the technology. Just like with everything, like we know Nobel who invented the explosives, but it wasn't for the sake of exploding things and bombing things. It was
Exactly.
for something else, and that's why we have a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
So the thing is, with AI, um, it will dominate definitely within the next 5 to 10 years. It will dominate many industries.
Uh huh.
There will be a shift, like a revolution in our life on how a lot of, how to say, I'm gonna put them in parentheses. So easy jobs, they will be replaced with AI, definitely, because we are moving always into automation, moving always into freeing ourselves from the tasks. So this on one hand, it's like brilliant. Okay, then I will have more time to do other stuff, more time to reflect, more time to think about new stuff that I want to do. On the other hand, and how our world is put together, especially in a capitalistic, let's say, paradigm that we are living, um, this freedom that you get because of the AI will push you out instead of freeing you. Will give more advantage to the people controlling these AI technologies, and put all the other people out that are not involved in this, instead of using the revenue from AI to make the life of the people who got out because of AI better. And that is a very big social, political, economical question that we're going to have to deal with for the next 200 years, in my opinion. But it's a good start to think about it now.
Gotcha. Well,
to continue on in these industries, so the Web3 NFT industry is like the forefront of using AI, especially in the creative branch, especially in putting together like programs and using the technology, because it's all in all one world. You know, you can make 100,000 NFTs, but still not touch anything real in real life. And that's also a struggle that is that the Web3 world is trying to prove itself in, that no, I can still link Web2 to Web3. I can still make a real product with NFTs. And the people who are achieving this are the ones who are going to succeed on the longer term.
mm-hmm.
And in that sense, there is an invitation, because of the abundance of learning materials, of the resources that we have today. It's an invitation to everyone to get involved, because the earlier you get involved, the more benefit you will get. And then maybe, you know, like if there's a lot of people involved, then maybe there's a chunk of them who would think in the same way I'm describing. You know, they would say, okay, I'm going to use AI, but not for my own benefit or my company's benefit. I want to make the life of other people better in whatever way. And the more people we have, the more this percentage will be prone to be higher. That's the bet we have, you know. So it would be more beneficial for all of us to get involved, instead of staying out and saying, oh no, AI, it's going to take over, so I'm fighting this, I'm boycotting this, I'm not going to use that. So that explains a bit this double-sided vision.
Yeah, I have to agree with you that, you know, I hadn't really thought about because it's always our life, as creators. This is the best way I can say this. As creators, is like we create, so we can either be consumers or creators. It's like we create content, is like, or we consume content. And most of our life is focused. Most of my life has been, at least, it's always been a consumer. It was only when I got into is like this world. I mean, even as a trained professional, as an attorney, okay, practicing law, it's like I'm doing what I'm doing for my clients, but I'm still consumer mentality. I'm not even, I'm business mentality, but it's still consumer. It is not creator. And it was only when I got into music that I got into this create. So now take that and extrapolate what you were talking about, as far as all of us shedding all of this, shedding our laziness, shedding our desire to be fed and fed and fed and fed, but actually to take our what I believe is, everybody was born to create. We were born to be creators, and so not consumers. And somehow is like someone else is like got us all consumer and being pegs
but Eric, it's also kind of a paradox here, because when you create something, you need someone to consume that. It's, if you put something out and there's no one to look at it, no one to listen to the music, no one to enjoy the art, no one to use the program you're writing, then so it's kind of I hate to say a difficult paradox, but the good thing when you think about it is that it's all new. Like 10 years ago, all of this was not here in the hands of the public, and it's going only to be more. It's not going to be less. So this transformation is going to be hard. It's going to be painful. But when we set our mentality that, yeah, I know it's going to be painful, I'm going to embrace it and take it into consideration and not let myself be discouraged by it.
Yeah.
That would be like the key to continue to get some energy to move on.
No, we're in complete agreement with it. It's like obviously we have to consume stuff. Is like, and so, but what I like is that you point out, and what I like is that you point out that we all really should, as many people who possibly can be, should be more engaged, because as you get more engaged, it's like you can also potentially influence policy and and have a higher momentum, or you know, you know what I'm trying to say. There's just, you
Mm-hmm.
have more people, you have, um maybe we can be on top as like, and I and then the tasks or the things that people like your Zuckerbergs or your Elon Musk, who may be brilliant people in their own right in some ways, but their motivations, I said in their own ways, I was very polite, and so um um but their motivation obviously is for self, and so in the big picture of things, they may think that they are doing things for humanity. Maybe they might fool themselves, but you can tell by the fruits of your labor is like what is actually going on. So I hear you there, and so you've touched upon it. We've kind of been all around it, even just mentioning those two names that I just mentioned. We kind of touch upon it as well. But what are your thoughts on the safety and ethical concerns around AI? I know
Oh, that's a difficult one. I mentioned that before. Like it depends at the end of the day on which hands the technology lies within and what do they want to do with it. Of course, I like in my right mind, I believe that everyone does everything they do because they think that at this moment, this is the best decision or thing I can do.
uh,
This is how our brain works. Otherwise, we're not going to do it,
yeah,
because I would think I have something better to do. And that would be the thing then that I'm doing. So when we come to ethics, it becomes very fluid, it becomes very relative, because you can't always have good everywhere. Like life is always good and bad, and it's all relative. What's good for you might be bad for others, and vice versa.
yeah,
And that is a big problem. Now, with AI, we have reached a new level of that potential danger that is coming. And that, like, there are two people who are now talking about it. Instead of the two names, I would bring two other names that are more important in that regards. And these are the Dr. Michio Kaku, the astrophysicist, who talks about how what are the dangers of AI, and what is going to happen now. Like he talked a lot about the quantum supremacy, for example, when Google achieved that in 2019. And the other name is the Dr. Yuval Hariri, who is an intellectual talking about a lot of, how to say, like, seems like science fiction scenarios that are happening, but the difference is we have the technological advancements to do that. We have it already. It's not something that we are going to make, it's already there.
yeah,
And here I have two axes that I would like to talk about. You have the software hardware pair that are working together. So now we have the software, we have the hardware, we have the software as ChatGPT and all similar stuff that are coming to it. The hardware stuff is the quantum computer or computers that are in the world now, and we are waiting, let's say, impatiently. It's going to happen sooner or later. So one day these two are going to come together, and when they come together, you have the exponential computing power of a quantum computer combined with the power that we're already living of the AI software. that would be a very sinister scenario. Some people say no, it might turn out good, but the problem is it's gonna depend on the content that we already have on the internet, and the
Yeah,
content that we already have on the internet is not the best,
exactly,
to put
exactly.
it simply. So this is one thing. The other thing, so this was like Michio Kaku's take on the future scenario. The other one is um, when we put these technologies into use, then we can jump into a completely different realm, and that is the so we have the surveillance technologies that are everywhere. Everything that you do online is logged somewhere.
Yeah,
We know Edward Snowden. We know like everything that is happening around the internet, and that's already so old that we have a different world now. But there is the biological realm that we still haven't entered yet. And this is technologically already possible because we all have our phones, our watches that are monitoring our biological indicators.
yeah,
And these, so to put it simply, you can put a tweet and lie in it, but you cannot let your heartbeats lie.
yeah,
And that is a big problem when these heartbeats are exposed to a machine that
yeah.
will be reading them, that will be aggregating them, analyzing them, and then acting upon them. This is happening somewhere in Asia, where people, like we have rings now, we have chips, that people are getting that, and for various reasons, be it for work, leisure, or research.
Yeah,
And the results of that will be that we have to think about not only protecting our data online, but also protecting our biological data,
exactly.
which is going to be very, very hard because um, when these technologies take over, which means they are massively produced and they're available for everyone, and we've seen that it happened. Like we all have iPhones and Androids, so it's like massively produced. There's enough phones for 3 times of humanity's now. You know,
Uh,
we have over 16 billion phones in the world.
wow, I didn't know that.
you
I
know
did not know that.
that's the thing, like that's only a double, so I guess. And not everyone has a phone, so that's also something to show like how the statistics are working. And this realm will be like, it's not gonna affect us, or we're not gonna affect it, because it's now in the hands of the secret services, the governments, the big big tech companies that are working on that. And we already know it's too late for us to affect that.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be negative or pessimistic in this. I'm just trying to paint a picture of what is happening now, and what do we need to just open our eyes, on the side, perfectly on the side, to what's happening. And that will help us to decide the path for the next steps.
gotcha. I don't know about for our listeners, but I do know for me that when you touch about the biology and when you talk about quantum physics and just nanotechnology. We had a discussion before we came online about military, and I know from a military perspective, is like the implementation of chips is like to be able to track soldiers and this and that kind of stuff like that. And they have chips now for protecting kids. Kids might get lost, or the guys is like the good intention is this, but if you extrapolate out, wow, now you have a chip in your body that you can be tracked anywhere you go, 24/7, yada yada yada. And so having you express these things really has my brain thinking. I presume it has our listeners thinking as well, without wanting to be a an Orwellian negative thing, but you have to be a realist of, we live in a world where those who want to dominate do their best to dominate, and then those of us who want to retain our sovereignty do everything in our power to retain our sovereignty. But sometimes governments make that very difficult. Like we have a prime example with the pandemic, and so It's like it got to a point where it's like, depending on where you were and whether you work for in the U.S., if you work for the federal government or whatever, whether you were mandated to take the vaccine, et cetera, a real world issue. There was really a pandemic. People really did die from COVID, but we live in such a sticky world. I'll just leave it at that. Things are just very, very sticky, and so. So I really appreciate, you're the first person that I've interviewed who's really gone into some depth about the risk on that kind of a level. So I really want to appreciate you for bringing that to our audience, this audience, and for getting me to even be thinking about this stuff again, because I have peace here, I have a piece here, I have a piece here, but I have not been per se. I strive, because I'm ruler in peace. I strive to be positive, right? And so, but you have to be a realist as well and understand that there's a lot going on that we really need to pay much more attention to. And most people may not even know that they need to be paying more attention to it. So I have another question for you, and it's just basically going to be that, because I'm really blown away with several things that you said today, honestly. But before we wrap it up, could you share with us a specific project or accomplishment related to AI that you're most proud of? I would be, and our audience would be blessed to hear such things from you.
Well, personally, I didn't release any works that are generated or created by AI. I'm watching a lot of stuff happening in the space, and now what I'm seeing is, the programs that, or the apps that you have to create images, like Dream, like all of the AI stuff, plus ChatGPT that you have. So what I'm seeing now is that there's a trend for certain communities to get on top of that and then create their own customized, we can say it or call it AI facilitator, because we want to get rid of all the technical parts and just get it to the tips of your fingers. And that is a point where the communities will be blend in together. So you don't need to be an expert. You just have to know how to use this simple tool that we have created for you with simple clicks, and then you can get something. And this is brilliant for sure. But then this will be, and again, it will make the technology more accessible for everyone, but it will raise the question: will we still value the AI products the same way that we used to, or the same way we do with the handicraft? Like when someone sits on a piece like 40 hours, just like crafting and doing something and creating it. It's a hard question, because already, if you are a 3D artist, then you are already using technology to let the technology build something for you, which you cannot build using your hands. So you're already using technology, and that is an open question that has been open for, I don't know, 40,000-50,000 years, because ever since people started using fire, for example, that was a technology that allowed us to move massively forward. And that is the question: do we deal with AI the same way we deal with fire? Today, you have people who have a peculiar relationship to fire. I love these people. The fire artists, the people, the dance with fire. They know how to deal with it. They don't get burned, and they're pretty close to fire. Usually, if you have a lighter and then you do it wrong, then you burn yourself. Like, this is how easy it gets. But for these people who are professionals, who are like completely blended in the technology of fire, they can create amazing stuff with it, and they can be like become their own how to say, I'm not let's say it's species, so to speak. These are the people who deal with fire, these are the people who deal with water, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, they are still human beings. They are still part of the community. They're still part of our society, and we all live together. And that is something that opens up other questions about how we want to live our life. But the thing is, the existence of such people is beneficial for everyone. If you know that there is someone who can use a certain technology in a certain way, in a brilliant way, then it will first give you hope that, yeah, this is possible. It exists. Second of all, you can use the technology. I brought maybe the wrong example, but I wanted to connect the technology with art and through the basic thing, like I'm not going to go back to stones, but let's just put fire because that had made a major change. And with AI, this is the same thing that is happening. We're going to have a new group or species of people. And species, I don't mean they're different, just to be clear. And as a disclaimer, I'm just using it for the sake of the argument, that we're going to have a group of people who will be thinking completely differently and using the technology in a way more advanced way that we use it. And this is where we should put our focus on, because what these people will do will change the world.
For sure.
In the past, it was local. Today, the whole world is at the tips of your fingers. So you can actually create a massive disruption, be it positive or negative, in the world pretty quickly.
And I agree with you, but going back to your fire breather analogy for a second, the people who are masters at this. Here in where I live in Key West, Florida, is like every night is like they have performers, right? But as masterful as they are, is like we had an incident, a situation where one was performing and a observer got too close and they caught on fire. So the one who was controlling the fire was safe and sound, but the one who was observing it went up in flames and literally had to be thrown into the water. And then the person who threw them into the water, the fire person actually jumped into the water to save them, because the person who threw them in the water was starting to drown along with the other person. It was just a total mess. So
that's why it's not like in vain that you need years and years of practice, of mastering. Of course, all the artists who play with fire had burns before. They made mistakes until they mastered that craft. And this is the same with everything.
Exactly. But before we move off this topic, or we can move off the fire topic, the question that I actually asked you was not a project that you were most proud of, that you created from your own existence, but just any specific project or accomplishment related to AI that you're most proud of.
Yeah, I mentioned that not directly. I told you the AI facilitator. I don't want to talk about the project specifically because it's still like a beta version. It's still in the making. It's not public yet. But this is an example that I see really effective, very good.
All right.
And there's a community that has created an AI facilitator. It's a community of artists, and each artist has the chance now to try that out and then create art with using AI. And what I mean by that is that you don't only create a single image, but you can create a collection. You can set the parameters for that, all of that, and then with a few clicks, you got your collection. And this is massive, Before that, if you want to make a collection, you need to plan it, think about it, set the traits, do all of the work, and then refine. It's going to take a lot of time. But with such a facilitator, it's going to be more and more quicker.
Gotcha.
As a process. Yeah, but otherwise, I'm not thinking about any specific project now. Sorry for the audience. Sorry for you.
But no, because I wasn't even aware of this. And so, is that something that's Google? If they put AI facilitator in Google, that would bring up too many terms. How does a person discover or find this, or is
It will become public soon, so it's still in the making. And this is I'm telling you this because this is something I'm in direct contact with that I
okay?
know. I don't want to Google like what is happening in AI now and just echo that.
Yeah. Got you.
Everyone can do that.
Yeah, I understand. So, um, you know, before I said before I wrap up before, but what I really mean is that, I mean, this is really, we really are getting down to the very end of our time together. So we've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about some really deep topics, actually. I mean, this has been this has been a really deep show, and I hope our listeners is like will go back and rewatch it as like because we really touched upon some things. And the name of the two, I know that people are going to be listening and want to know those two people that you mentioned before, but not know how to spell their names. Is like, do you know the spelling of their names? Can you spell it
Yeah,
out?
of course. Dr. Michio Kaku, so it's Kaku. Um, he's an American astrophysicist, and Yuval Hariri is like Juval, and Hariri, you can write it like this.
All right, brother man. So, yes, sir, I always appreciate our time together. And I appreciate you making the time as like to be able to share with um our viewers. I would like to give you a chance, even though I know that your project is not about AI, but the stuff that you do is just really so incredible. Before we go, can you just tell everyone a little bit about your Kalamat project? Is like because I just think people should know about it, and I have
Mhm.
this platform, so please just share a little bit about
Well, thank you first for the time as well. Thank you for the interview, and thank you for this chance for me to present my project. Kalimat is Arabic for words. It means multiple words, and when you start your journey with the crypto with NFTs, then the words become something very important for you. It comes from Arabic, and I have created the Arabic alphabet, like recreated the Arabic alphabet in a new font that is not legible in the first sight. But with time, when you start reading, you will train your eye. You will learn a new alphabet to read words with. And I'm moving with that, like building community, uh, facilitating Web3 NFT world to the Arabic speaking audience, because a lot of people don't have access to this world, because some people are monolinguistic. They don't even know English. So you have to bring these concepts to them in a way. And I'm following on like all the institutions, all the communities, all the platforms that are emerging now in the Arabic world. And through the project, I want to create a lot of things. NFT collections. I have already a sold out collection, and that was the beginning of it. I called it Kalimat Unleashed. So it's like, just like let it go. And that was the one that sold out in December. Now I have a second collection that is called Kalimat Letters, and the basic letters of the font are put as a dictionary on chain to populate that, for people to have a reference to know how to read the other words. Of course, that will be connected to some programs, to some Discord games, to some applications that I'm now in the process of learning how to make, and getting to know the technological parts of it, and then putting something so this community can benefit from the NFTs, from my connections, from whatever I've been building in the past 2 years in the space. So if you are interested, if you like Kalimat, just check Kalimat NFT on Twitter or my profile, and then you're good to go.
All right. Well, brother, well, yes, sir. As I consider you a brother. It's like I realize that when you do shows like this, we're supposed to be very, very formal. It's really hard for me because I'm just like this mushy person, especially with people that I really connect and vibe with. But I really, really appreciate you being here today on Machine Minds. And so I want to say thank you to our audience for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to explore the fascinating world of AI. The way I do it in this particular show is that we just kind of close out with some music, just a little bit of something. And then until excuse me, until our next episode is like in 2 weeks, is like this is Ruler in Peace, and we've had is like a tremendous human being with a great and big heart, genuine. I want to point out, everyone, that his major focus is about humanity, not about himself. It's like not about what he's getting for himself, but how he can make the world a better place. And we all should have such an intention. So, everyone, thank you very much. Yasser, thank you so much. And until I see you guys in 2 weeks, this is Ruler in Peace. This is Brother Yasser, and I wish everyone peace, love, and tranquility into our next episode.
Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome, brother.